Hey there, welcome back to Understanding Depression, where we explore mental health topics with clarity, compassion, and real talk. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone who might need it. Your support truly helps us keep spreading awareness and fighting the stigma around mental health. Now, here's a question to start us off. Who do you think can get depression? Maybe you're picturing someone who's constantly crying, isolated in a dark room, or someone who's just gone through a big tragedy. That's a pretty common image, and honestly, it's what many of us have been led to believe. There's this stereotype floating around that depression only hits people who've experienced major losses, or those who walk around looking visibly sad or broken. But here's the truth: it's so much more complex than that. Depression doesn't always show up in obvious ways. In fact, some of the people who seem the happiest, the most successful, the ones always cracking jokes or leading teams, can be the very ones fighting silent battles no one sees. We've all heard the heartbreaking stories of celebrities, athletes, or even close friends who seemed like they had it all together, only to later open up, or worse, be lost to the deep pain they'd been hiding. So let's make this clear. Depression does not discriminate. It doesn't care about your job title, social status, age, background, or how bright your smile looks in photos. It's not just about external circumstances. It's also about what's going on inside, biologically, emotionally, psychologically. And if we continue to believe that it only affects sad-looking or troubled people, we risk overlooking those who are suffering behind the mask. So stay with us, because in the next part, we'll open our eyes even wider. We'll explore real stories and scientific insights that show just how invisible depression can be, and why understanding that might just save lives. Until then, make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment about what this topic brings up for you. And most importantly, share this episode with someone who might need a gentle reminder that they're not alone. Let's talk about something that might surprise you. Did you know that many high-functioning individuals, people who excel at work, manage families, and show up with a smile every day, can still be living with depression? This is sometimes referred to as smiling depression. It's when someone masks their inner pain with a cheerful exterior. They might laugh at your jokes, hit deadlines, post happy vacation photos, and yet when they're alone, they feel empty, hopeless, or exhausted just by being alive. Let's look at a few real-life examples. Take the case of Emma, a 32-year-old marketing manager. She's always been the life of the party, fun, organized, and always there for her friends. But what no one knew was that every night, after taking off the strong woman mask, she cried herself to sleep, feeling numb and disconnected. She thought, "How can I be depressed? I have a good job, friends, and my life looks fine." That's the tricky part. Depression doesn't always come with visible warning signs. It's not always about falling apart. It can also look like keeping everything together just enough so no one notices you're slipping. In fact, research shows that around 30 to 40% of people with depression don't seek help, often because they believe their pain isn't valid enough. They think, other people have it worse, I should be grateful, or they worry about being judged, especially in cultures where emotional struggle is seen as weakness. But here's what science tells us. Depression is not a character flaw. It's a mental health condition influenced by a mix of genetics, brain chemistry, life experiences, and environmental stressors. And guess what? Some of the most outwardly successful people might be genetically predisposed to it or are silently overwhelmed by high expectations, burnout, or past trauma they've never shared. So if you've ever looked at someone and thought, they don't seem like the type to get depressed, let this be your reminder: there is no type. In our next part, we'll explore why understanding this hidden reality matters, and how recognizing these unseen signs can help us better support the people we care about and ourselves. Stick around. And if this resonates with you or someone you know, don't forget to share it. You never know who might need to hear this today. So why is it so important to understand that depression can affect anyone, regardless of how they look or live on the outside? Because when we hold on to narrow definitions, when we assume that only people who are visibly down are struggling, we risk missing the silent cries for help. And sometimes, those unheard cries can lead to devastating consequences. Think about it. If someone feels like they don't look depressed, or that their life is too privileged to justify their pain, they might never speak up. They might keep pretending. They might isolate themselves even more, thinking, no one would believe me anyway. By understanding the full spectrum of depression, the visible and the invisible, we can start to create space for real conversations, without judgment or assumptions. This shift in perspective can literally save lives. Here's something powerful to remember. Validation is one of the first steps toward healing. When someone opens up, no matter how small their pain might seem, it's our job not to question whether they should feel that way. It's our job to listen, to believe, to support. And this goes for ourselves too. If you've ever questioned your own mental health and thought, am I being dramatic? Other people have it worse. Or ich should be stranger d'indice. Please hear this. Your pain is real. Your feelings are valid. And you deserve support, no matter what your life looks like on the outside. Depression doesn't care how well you perform at work. It doesn't care how many followers you have, how expensive your clothes are, or how perfect your life looks on Instagram. That's why we need to stay curious, compassionate, and open. We need to check in on our strong friends. We need to ask real questions, not just how are you, but how are you really? And we need to remind ourselves and each other that it's okay to not be okay, and it's more than okay to ask for help. So stay with us, because in the next part, we'll look at how we can break the stigma, not just through awareness, but through action. We'll talk about ways to respond when someone opens up, and how we can all be part of the change. And as always, if this episode is helping you see things in a new light, take a second to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Welcome back. If you've been with us through this episode, thank you. Thank you for being open, for listening mindfully, and for allowing your understanding of depression to grow deeper and wider. Now let's talk about something really important. What can we do, individually and collectively, to break the stigma around depression? First, it starts with our language. Let's stop using phrases like just be positive, snap out of it, or but your life is so good. These words, even if well-intentioned, can shut people down. They send the message that their struggle isn't valid. Instead, try saying, I'm here for you. That sounds really hard. Do you want to talk about it? Or even just you're not alone. Small shifts like these can make a huge difference. Second, let's normalize the idea that mental health is just as important as physical health. We don't shame people for having the flu or diabetes, so why should we judge someone for living with depression? Going to therapy, taking medication, or needing time off to heal mentally should be seen as strength, not weakness. Third, we need to stop assuming that someone's outer appearance tells the whole story. Check in with your friends, the loud ones, the funny ones, the responsible ones. Sometimes, the ones who seem the strongest are carrying the heaviest invisible weight. And finally, be kind, always. You never know what someone is going through behind the scenes. By staying open, curious, and compassionate, we create a world where people feel safe to speak up, where they feel seen, heard, and supported. So here's our challenge to you. After listening to this episode, take a moment to reach out to someone you care about. Ask them how they're really doing. And if you're the one struggling, please know, help is out there. You're never as alone as you think. Thank you for being part of this conversation. If this episode spoke to you, or if you believe in spreading awareness about mental health, do us a favor. Like this episode, leave a comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share it with someone who might need it. Let's keep this dialogue going. Let's break the stigma together. You've been listening to Understanding Depression. Until next time, be gentle with others and with yourself.